5 sons, 5 graves, all buried before their 7th birthday. And the only one who survived ran. Emeka. He ran from Umuchi, ran from the red earth, ran from the whispers, ran from a promise his blood did not make, but still had to pay for. He crossed oceans, built a new life in London, married, had a son. Chidi, healthy, bright, innocent. For 6 years, nothing happened. And Emeka believed the lie we all tell ourselves: distance is protection. Until the boy started speaking. Names no one taught him, stories no one told him, graves he had never seen. Then one night, Chidi stopped breathing. No sickness, no struggle, just silence. The hospital found nothing. But when the boy woke, he whispered a name buried for generations: Ezuko. That was when Emeka understood. You don't escape a death by changing your location. You only delay it. So he came back to Umuchi, back to the house his grandfather built on top of something that should never have been buried. And at midnight, he dug, not knowing he was not digging up a curse, he was digging up a memory. And now, the ground has opened, the chest is unlocked, and something inside it is finally ready to speak. The lid creaked open, slow, painful, like something that had not moved in decades, forcing itself awake. Cowries spilled out, one by one by one. Tick, tick, tick. Then silence. Thick, heavy, wrong. Emeka leaned forward. He didn't want to, but something inside him pulled him closer. And then he saw it. Not bones, not gold, not a body. Something worse. It was alive. A carved wooden figure, shaped like a child. Small, fragile, but wrong. The head bent slightly, like it had been listening for too long. The arms hung too low, the fingers too long, like they had been reaching and never touching. Its surface was dark, not just from age, from something soaked deep into it, something without a name. Then Emeka saw the eyes. They were not carved. They were hollow, deep, endless, and inside those hollow holes, something moved. Watching him, Emeka staggered back. His chest tightened. No, no, he whispered. But the thing inside the chest moved. Its head shifted slightly. A dry cracking sound filled the air, like wood remembering how to bend. Emeka's heart slammed. This was not a statue, not an object. It was a record, a memory given form. At its base, he saw them. 7 deep notches, 5 filled, 2 empty. The filled ones held iron pegs. Dark, heavy, final. Emeka stared, and suddenly, the world changed. He was no longer by the chest, he was inside it. Inside the memory. He saw the first boy, cold, still, eyes open, staring at nothing. Then the second, crying, then silence. Then the third, laughing at something above him, then quiet. The fourth, struggling, gasping, reaching for help that never came. And the fifth,
Music, drums, laughter, a celebration. Then, darkness. Emeka screamed. The vision stopped. He collapsed to his knees. Sweat poured down his face. His breath came in sharp gasps. That is what you buried. The voice returned. Calm, heavy, Ezuko. That is what silence becomes. Emeka shook his head. No, you did this. I did not create it. The silence softened. You think memory is soft? The air thickened. You think forgetting has no cost. Emeka looked at the figure again. Still, but not lifeless. Aware. Every peg, every notch. A life. A debt. I asked for remembrance, Ezuko said quietly. I was given erasure. The ground trembled. So, I took what was promised. Emeka's breath shook. My son! He is the next line. The answer came fast. Cold. The two empty notches seemed darker now. Waiting. He has already heard us, the voice continued. He already knows our names. Emeka froze. That is how it begins. His mind raced. There must be another way. There is. Everything stopped. Hope. What do you want? The wind moved again. Slow. Focused. I told you. The voice softened. I want to be remembered. No riddles. Speak clearly. Silence. Then, undo what was done. The ground shifted. Bring back what was buried. Speak what was silenced. Each word hit hard. And stand where your great-grandfather stood. A pause. And do not lie. Emeka swallowed. You want the shrine rebuilt? Yes. You want my name spoken? Yes. I want truth. The voice cut in. Not fear, not hiding, not running. Okoro's words echoed in Emeka's mind. A man who runs dies tired. You have one chance, Ezuko said. The air went still. Because next time, a pause. The child will not wake up. Emeka's heart stopped. And in that silence, the wooden figure inside the chest lifted its head fully for the first time. The empty eye sockets turned directly at him. And something inside those hollow eyes smiled. The thing inside the chest stopped moving, but the presence did not leave. It grew. It filled the air. It pressed against Emeka's chest like a memory trying to be remembered. You are afraid of me, the voice said. Not accusing, just stating truth. Emeka swallowed. Yes. Then, you should not be. A pause. Not yet. The words settled slowly. Confusing. Heavy. Emeka shook his head. You took them, he said, voice trembling. My brothers, the children. I called them. The correction was calm. Firm. Like a man correcting a lie that has lived too long. Emeka's face tightened. What is the difference? The air shifted. Then, images. Not like before. Not sharp. Not violent. These ones were slow. Gentle. Human. He saw a man. Tall. Strong. Standing on open land. His wrapper tied firmly. His eyes steady. This man was not a monster. He was a leader. I am Ezuogo. The voice softened. I was not always a whisper. The image changed. Men gathered around him, listening, trusting. Women bringing food. Children running freely. He was not feared. He was respected. I fought for this land, the voice continued. I spoke when others were silent. Emeka watched. Famine came, dry season, empty barns, but the man did not run. He stood. He negotiated. He protected. I made sure this family survived, the voice said, before your grandfather ever tasted wealth. The images grew clearer, stronger, more real. This compound you stand on, a pause, I built it. Emeka's breath slowed, because now he understood something uncomfortable. This was not a stranger. This was blood. I asked for one thing, Ezuogo said. The images stopped. Everything went still. My name. Silence. I asked that my children would remember me. His voice dropped. Just one story at night, one prayer in the morning, one calabash of palm wine on my feast day. The requests were small, painfully small. I did not ask for their first sons. The words hit like truth. I asked for their first thought. Emeka's chest tightened. But Nwosu, the name came with weight, gave me silence. Darkness crept into the memory. The compound changed. The warmth disappeared. The shrine covered, broken, buried. And when he buried my shrine, a pause, he buried my name. Emeka whispered. He was afraid. Yes. The answer was immediate. He feared what he did not understand. The voice softened. But fear does not erase truth. Another pause. When my name stopped being spoken, the air grew heavier. I began to disappear. Emeka felt it, not physically, but something deeper. The feeling of being forgotten, erased, like you never existed. Do you know what that feels like? Ezuogo asked. Emeka could not answer. It is worse than death. The words landed slowly, because death, at least, remembers you existed. But silence, a long pause, removes you completely. Emeka's eyes burned. And so, Ezuogo continued, I called the death. Not anger, not revenge, balance. I am not a curse, the voice steadied. I am a grandfather, a pause, who was forgotten. The truth hit harder than fear, because it made sense, too much sense. My uncles, Emeka whispered, they were reminders. Yes, not punishment, not cruelty, memory, forced. I waited, Ezuogo said, for someone to come back, for someone to ask, for someone to remember. Silence filled the night. Then, you are the first. Emeka froze. You ran, Ezuogo continued, but you came back. A pause. And that matters. Hope flickered again. Dangerous, fragile. But your son, the word slowed. He does not have time. Emeka's heart slammed. You said there's another way. There is. The air tightened. But it will cost you truth. Emeka leaned forward. I will do anything. A long pause. Then, no. The word hit hard. Not anything. Silence. You will do what is right. The distinction was sharp, clear. And you will do it before dawn. Emeka looked at the chest, at the figure, at the empty notches, waiting, still waiting for a choice that would decide if history repeats itself or ends.
And then there was silence. heavy, deep, like the night itself was waiting. Emeka did not move. His chest rose slowly, fell slowly. Then the voice came again, closer this time, not around him, inside him. Beneath where you stand, that is where he buried us. Emeka's eyes dropped to the ground. The stone you feel is not just stone. It is memory, covered in fear. A pause. Then, dig. His breath caught. Not with fear, not with doubt, but with truth. If you want your son, you will bring us back. The wind moved, soft but certain. And in that moment, Emeka understood. Not everything, but enough. He dropped the shovel and went to his knees. He dropped the shovel and used his hands. He dug deeper, faster, not in fear, in urgency. The earth was cold, damp, unwilling to let go. But he did not stop, because now he understood. He was not digging for an object. He was digging for truth. His fingers hit something, stone, flat, covered. He cleared it, slowly, carefully. A broken slab, old, worn, faint carving still visible. Symbols, names, forgotten. The shrine, buried, just like the voice said. Emeka's chest tightened. I see it, he whispered. I see you. The air shifted, not heavy anymore, listening. He lifted the slab, set it upright, his hands shaking, not from fear, from weight, from meaning. He looked around. The compound was silent, but it felt full, like he was no longer alone. He said, I don't know the rituals. I don't know the words. A pause, but I will not lie. Silence. Then, Emeka took a breath, deep, slow, and then, my name is Emeka. His voice trembled. Son of this soil. The wind moved slightly. I stand where my father stood. He swallowed. And I have been ignorant. The word hurt. I did not know. A pause. But I know now. I speak your name. He hesitated. Because names carry power, weight, memory. Then, Ezueko. The moment the name left his lips, the ground exhaled. The air shifted. Something settled. I see you, Emeka continued. I know what was taken. Tears rolled down his face, and I am sorry. Silence. Deep. Ancient. Then the chest behind him creaked. But this time, not violently, gently, like something being released. Emeka turned. The wooden figure was still. The empty notches fading, slowly, like they were never meant to stay. You remembered. Ezuego's voice was softer now, lighter. Then the death silence is ended. The words did not echo. They settled like truth, like finality,
like peace. The night changed. The heaviness lifted. The air moved freely again. And for the first time since he arrived, Emeka could breathe fully. He reached into his pocket, pulled out his phone, his hands still shaking. He pressed record. "My name is Emeka." He spoke again, but this time for the future. For anyone who forgets, he told the story of Ezueko, of the shrine, of the silence, of the cost, so it would never happen again. Then he called Adaize. She picked immediately, her voice shaking. "Emeka," a pause. "You won't believe it." His heart raced. "Chidi slept," she said, "all night. No fear, no pauses, no standing at the window." Tears filled Emeka's eyes. "He woke up this morning, Ada," and she whispered, "and he asked me." Her voice broke. "Who is Ezuego?" Emeka closed his eyes. "And he said," she whispered, "tell him thank you." Silence. Peace. Earned. Tib. Emeka did not break the curse. He ended it. There is a difference. You don't end a debt by running from it. You end it by facing it, by saying, "I see you. I remember. I am sorry." The elders say, a man who forgets where he comes from is only lost in a new location. Not free, just lost somewhere else. Some of us have traveled far, different countries, different lives, different names, but our blood still remembers. And sometimes the only way to save the future is to go back and fix the past. If this story touched you, drop a comment right now. Which part of this story hit you the most? Was it the graves, the child speaking the name, or the moment the truth was revealed? Drop it in the comments. Don't forget to like, share this with someone abroad, and subscribe for more powerful African stories every week. Because some stories are not just stories, they are warnings.